I was told when I was 11 never to swim. Because, I had quite a serious operation on my ear. And then that was discovered through actually perforating my eardrum in a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I'm not supposed to get water in my ear, like, ever, or I could die. So it's not great.
Welcome to this episode of
The Full Distance Podcast.
Well done.
Thanks, babe.
All right.
Evening.
Good evening. All right.
Yeah, you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Quick little recap on what we haven't been doing really for the last few weeks.
It's winter. It's been Christmas.
It is winter. It's depressing training time and trying to get motivated to go out when you don't really want to. But we managed to get away for a
We did. We escaped with some
few
sunshine,
days in the
didn't
sun,
we?
didn't we? In Lanzarote, which was very nice.
Yeah.
And managed to get out on our bikes, didn't
Yeah.
we?
All before the pros turned up.
We
warmed
did,
the roads up.
Yeah,
for them all.
cleaned the roads for the pros going out and doing their training. But yeah, we managed 4 days, didn't we?
Yeah.
Cycling, not massive miles, but
Yeah, good quality miles. It's
yeah,
nice.
it was nice. Those, for anyone who's coming out in March, the hills have got longer, strangely, or they seem to have got a lot longer since I did them last.
Yeah, but the wind, there was no wind, was there?
No.
We had like amazing conditions. I've never
Unusually.
expected Lanzarote like that ever.
Yeah, unusually for
Really
Lanzarote,
lucky.
no wind at all for 5 days, was there? So very worthwhile going. Nice little break, bit of cycling.
Bumped into Tina.
We did. Swim coach Tina was there. So she tagged along with us a bit, which was good. I got a few swim tips as well. Thanks, Tina. So that was all right. And I have got faster as well since then. So that obviously worked, didn't it? So that was good. Yeah, so all good. But apart from that, not really done a lot, have we?
It's just ticking over and finding that motivation,
Yeah.
getting in the cold garage and just going through the daily grind at the moment, no matter what.
Yeah, I had a lovely set of hill reps tonight after work, which was nice. Bit icy underfoot. It's quite interesting coming downhill.
I've always said that winter training, it's where it makes you, because it's so easy to come home and think, oh, I'm not bothered, I'll just go and do everything else. But you've got to really keep your focus and keep reminding yourself of what you've got up and coming, because if you don't do it, it's going to hurt.
You have, and I think that I've only just really got through the Wales hangover. I was talking to Chris about it the other night, and I said, I had a session last week, I can't remember what it was, whether it was a bike set or whatever. But afterwards, I actually thought, actually, I feel all right now. And I think that's the first time I've felt like that since Wales. So it took me all that time to get through.
You've done an FTP?
I did an FTP. I was not very well, though, when I did it, because I've been feeling a bit rough. So I wasn't very well, so I was quite happy
So
with
an
it.
FTP, for those that don't understand, is a functional threshold power test that people have to do for Swift. It sets you your targets for where you are, training targets, and then that obviously gives you a position to say, right, okay, you work towards it, and then you should generally see an improvement. So cyclists are rated on their FTP, so you shouldn't really take too much into consideration as to what the watts are. They're very individual to you. So, but you had a bit of an increase, didn't you? So,
Well, I had a slight decrease.
Oh, sorry.
Actually, I had. No, it's all right. Thanks for building it up, and I just had to let you down there. But on the previous one, I did go up quite a lot.
You did.
This one, I've gone down just slightly, but I think that was because I hadn't been feeling well for a few days, and I was tired and no energy.
And you had 200 odd miles in your legs.
Yeah, and so I think that was part of it, because I've felt fine since then. And it's hardly any change on my FTP because it's only slightly lower. So, although coach has told me I need to get it up quite a bit more before March. So,
and I think that on the last podcast we had the cheesecake and beefcake conversation, didn't we? So you've been hitting the gym a little bit more. What else? What else have you been doing?
Yes, I've
since then?
discovered Spartan training. So I've been for 2 weeks now because, as you know, I don't do weights and things. It's not really me. but Spartan training. So yeah, a few of us. You came the first week with Chris, didn't you? And Phil, and then me and Phil and Chris and Terence went this week. Yeah, and it's all right. I quite enjoy it. It's good. Because training can be a bit mundane, especially in winter. So doing circuits and stuff is something a bit different. It's
tyre flipping and...
Yeah, I can't do the big tyre. I can't seem to get hold of it and pick it up. So
I'll take the proud moment on that. The wife
you
did
it. You did. You managed to flip the big tyre. I couldn't do it. So I trapped my hand underneath it. So I'll have to have another go at it next week.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's quite good. And obviously, coach being coach has managed to squeeze a swim in before that. So it's like, you can go swimming before you go to Spartan. So it's like double training.
Well done.
Bonus. So, yeah, that's what really all we've been doing, isn't it? Not a lot. Pretty quiet. So...
We're just waiting for some nice weather. So...
Yeah, we are. So it's a good job we've got a guest. Because otherwise we wouldn't have a lot to talk about.
We've got an exciting guest tonight that we know absolutely nothing really about.
Apart from that he used to live in the Isle of Man 3 different times.
Which we have just learnt out before we came on.
Which is quite cool. So our guest this week hasn't done a triathlon before, but he's decided to do one. I mean, who the hell would do that, honestly? So instead of us rattling on, let's get Luke in and have a chat with him.
Yeah, so we'd like to introduce Luke.
Hello.
Hi, Luke.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, really good. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Good. We are really interested to hear your story. It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Although I think you're quite a bit better on a push bike and quite a bit better runner than me.
I don't know.
So we understand.
So we understand.
Oh, really? Okay. I don't know where you got this information.
So you've decided that you're going to do a triathlon.
Yes. Yeah.
You've entered a triathlon.
I have.
And so when is it?
It is May the 11th.
Really? I'm doing one on May the 11th.
Are you?
I'm back on May the 11th.
How strange. So
maybe we'll see each other then.
So what made you decide that was what you wanted to do?
I don't. Do you know what? When people ask me that, I don't actually know the exact thing. I think.
Was it a progression from something else, or was it?
Yeah, I mean, I was like you said, I'm a cyclist, and before I was a cyclist, I was a runner, and naturally gifted at running, but got into cycling as through COVID and everything like that.
Right, yeah.
And that's kind of what my job is now in a way, is in the cycling world. And through summer last year now, I actually did a lot more riding. And lost about 9 kilos. I didn't realise I'd put on 9 kilos, but then I've just felt super fit again. I'm 32 soon, and this isn't but I've always been relatively fit and found it quite easy to get back to fitness, and that wasn't quite as easy. And I think what it was is it just made me think, okay, well, look, before I get to that point where it's constantly hard and I get a little bit older, and keep that momentum going and see if I can do something that actually... like perform, like proper performance, because I've never done that. Yeah. I've entered a couple of half marathons and done all right, but I never entered them to compete.
No, just to finish and enjoy the race.
And although I feel like I did them quite well, I didn't do it with that mindset and with training and with the right nutrition and with what's my body capable of.
Yeah.
Actually seeing what you can actually do if you put the right attention to doing it properly. And
I thought, well, I've got 2 of the 3 disciplines, and there's quite a nice, it's not a funny story really, but I couldn't swim. I can't swim. Or I can now, but I was told when I was 11 never to swim. Because, I had quite a serious operation on my ear, and then that was discovered through actually perforating my eardrum in a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I'm not supposed to get water in my ear ever, or I could die. So it's not great. But so with that, I thought that was quite a compelling story as well. So my job is to make content in the cycling world. So I thought, well, quite strong in those 2, and there's a good story in the other bit, as long as I'm very careful. Don't try this at home. But so I'm making a documentary of the whole thing and training and learning how to do it, and then being, I've had like custom earplugs made.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Strange that you say that, because I have got custom earplugs. But also, bizarrely, I have also had a perforated eardrum.
Ah, cool.
That was caused by swimming in a swimming pool on holiday.
Ah, right.
I can't remember where, but I think it was something to do with pressure in the aeroplane and everything. Yeah. That's what contributed to it. But I was never told not to swim, so obviously mine wasn't that serious. Oh, no one was bothered. It was like, don't swim because you'll die. No one told me that. They probably just scrub that out.
The perforated eardrum came from 8 years of reoccurring infection.
Oh, did it?
Which they couldn't tell why it was reoccurring because it kept going away. And then it was because of the perforated eardrum, then they realised it was actually behind my eardrum and going into my brain, and that's what. So they had to remove. They cut like part of my head off. And everything.
Wow!
So that's why it's really dangerous because it's called a mastoidectomy. The mastoid bone is what's underneath and behind your ear.
Okay.
So I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
But they cut like a moon shape out of your head. They have to cut the bone away. So that's why if it reinfects, if it does reinfect, it can be quite severe. But so that's why I just have to be very careful.
Yeah,
that's why I'm
obviously.
swimming very carefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had, when we went, obviously we were talking about motorbikes, but we went to the NEC a few years ago, didn't we? And at that point, you weren't doing any triathlons whatsoever, and you were motorbiking, and we came across the people that do the moulded.
Yeah, so I actually got fitted for some because I was suffering with wind noise in my ears.
Right, okay.
So that's why I had them done.
Yeah, so they always said that at that point, obviously you can use it for swimming. I kept saying to you, like, you can use one.
I don't really suffer at the minute now with swimming, with water in my ears. So I did do when I first started, because I was the same as you. I could do breaststroke. But I couldn't swim. So at 49, I had to have swimming lessons to learn how to swim front crawl.
Have you had swimming lessons then?
I'm working with a coach, but because he's not based around here, it's not with Clarky, it's with Total Triathlon Training.
Yeah.
With
are they pink and blue? Are they
I think so, yeah.
With pink and blue?
Yeah.
I think I've seen
with Phil Murphy.
Okay.
But I need to get set up one-on-one with someone because
Well, you're in the right place.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. First, but also from a content point to show where I'm going wrong. Because I feel like I've got natural ability with it, but I'm definitely slow. I'm 2 minutes per 100 meters, which
that's not slow, mate.
Well,
that's just middle of the pack, believe me.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
Well.
Oh yeah.
The good thing is my goal is just to survive the swim. So
and that is absolutely the best goal.
Yeah, rather than try to.
I mean, you sound competitive, so no doubt as you see improvements with your swimming, you will then want to get faster. And faster and faster.
Because you were saying you got a panic attack. We went swimming in Mallorca. This is before you.
Before
at this point, I didn't even know swimming.
Right.
And you were in the pool, and obviously I've been fortunate. I've swam since an early age. I've been lucky enough to do that. So it's quite a strong discipline.
Yeah, you were a strong swimmer, you.
Yeah. So in the pool, I was like, "What do you mean you can't swim?" And it's like all of a sudden you're like, "I just can't swim." And
I set off to do 25 metres front crawl, thinking, well, when I was about 12, I could do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I set off. I could, breaststroke, so I know I'm not going to drown. And I thought, right, front crawl, I remember how to do that. So I set off, I got halfway down the pool and had to grab hold of the side. Thinking, because I'd basically run out of breath, because I'd forgotten how to breathe and not everything like you do. So I had to go back and do several swim courses to get to be... And I'm still not comfortable in the water.
Really?
If I swim too fast and get a little bit out of breath, I then start to panic. So I have to go at a speed where I
control it.
Don't get out.
But it's that carbon dioxide, isn't it? That's what it actually physically causes. The panic gives you an actual feeling, like a physical feeling of panic, and then that makes it so much worse.
And that's what I suffer with that a bit. So if it's fast swimming, if I've got a fast swim set to do, or supposedly fast, although I don't have a fast speed, I can do like 100 metres.
Yeah.
Or 200 at a push. I can do 200 fast till I'm sort of getting to the point, then I have to stop getting my breath.
Yeah.
Whereas I can swim at 2 minute pace all day.
Right, okay.
Because that's a nice comfy speed for me to swim at.
See, I'm struggling at the minute. First time I got in the pool, I couldn't do more than 2 lengths without having to stop, because my heart rate would be like 160, 170 in the pool, and then I was just, okay. But now, I managed to do a kilometre without stopping for the first time, so I was like really proud of that.
Yeah. The good old little ticks and stuff now.
Yeah, and then, but again, I'm starting to notice now when my form isn't right. So that noticing it now is helping me figure out.
So you must be getting better if you now notice that
I can notice a difference, especially if I've spent like maybe 5-6 days not swim out of the pool, and then get back in, and I go, okay, so, and I can feel the difference even just in my buoyancy when I'm in the right position, and it's easy to, I don't have to lift my head out of the pool, I can just turn. But then after like 200 meters, I'm back to swimming and looking at the ceiling rather than, so, and then going, oh no, don't look at the ceiling.
Just do it, that's it.
But then
one eye still in the water.
Exactly,
all that sort of stuff,
But then if you miss one, it's like playing the drums.
Yeah.
I compare it to playing the drums. Like, you've got to get everything in time, and if you do get everything in time with each other, you can carry on for a long time. But as soon as one thing is slightly off, it just throws everything.
Yeah. Are you a drummer as well?
I can drum. Yeah, I did drum a bit before. I was a musician before I was in sport. That's how I know Tom.
Yeah, I'm not a drummer. I never
You're
was.
an ex-drummer?
No, I never was. Yeah, thanks, Tom. Ooh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, a while ago. Yeah.
That's where I know. That's where I know you're from.
It's weird, isn't it?
So, swimming will always be your most frustrating discipline out of all three, and it is no matter whoever you speak to, it is just one of them sports that is because it is technique, and
unless you're Lucy Charles.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh my God, they're just incredible.
It's I refer it to, if you ride a bike, the harder you pedal, the faster you go.
Yeah.
The faster you turn your legs when you run, the faster you go. It's not like that with swimming, as you know now. The faster you try and go, the slower you go. It's all about technique in it, and pull hard enough, but not too hard, but not just enough. It's really, people say one with the water, you've got to feel the water, but you actually 100%. Have. That's it. Yeah.
You've got to work with the water, which is really. It sounds almost like spiritual, but it's true, isn't it?
You need to be the dolphin in the mermaid.
Yeah, exactly.
And exactly that's it. You watch people go through the water, and they're just beautiful. And that's because, exactly as you say, you have to be at one with water. 100%.
I sometimes go swimming and randomly I think about weird stuff, as we spoke about before, because obviously swimming, it's just you in the water, isn't it? So it's boring. If I think about my technique, I then overanalyze what I'm doing, and I start changing things that I probably don't need to. So I try to switch off and just swim and just swim. Yeah. And sometimes I'll swim and think, do you know what, I'm swimming really well tonight. I'm feeling good. I must be going quite quick. And then I'll do my swim and look at my speed and go, God, that was terrible. That's, you know what I mean? The slowest swim I've done for 3 weeks.
Really?
Even though you feel as though it's really strange.
Yeah, it's a funny one.
I just can't get my head around it.
I've got a friend that she listens to music.
Oh, she has like the bone conduction.
So she's got the waterproof earphones in, and that's what gets her through her set. It takes the overthinking away as well.
I might try, because I tried those on the bike, but they're just no good. I don't think they're any good on the bike. For me, because my deafness, I'm basically totally deaf in this ear. Yeah. So I tried them because of the bone conduction, because that's how it should. In theory, I should hear better.
Yeah.
But just with the wind, and then I end up getting earache because of it. So it's just blowing. So, but in the water, that's a good idea actually. Maybe I can try them in the water, because
just take the boredom out of it and the thinking about it, and try. I think one of the biggest things that you'll find as well is that you've really got to relax when you're in the water.
Yeah.
Like you said, when your heart rate's up at like 170, like for 100 meters and stuff, it's like thinking, when you do your kilometre, as you build that as well, the more relaxed you are, the better the stroke and everything comes, and the more you can swim, and the smoother you. It's just it is. You can have days you get in the water, and you're like, come on, you're like, you just be so frustrated with it. But then it's getting back in the water again. You sometimes like,
so you're swimming in the pool, obviously. Yeah. Have you swum in open water?
No.
Because on May the 11th, you're going to have to.
Let's get with it. I mean, I have a plan.
Okay.
But whether it actually comes to fruition or not, I don't know. I'm going to get in at Hatfield.
Yeah.
And do a few sessions there. We'll have wetsuits for that for that event. So, but I think basically the first time I get in this sea in saltwater will be a few days before the event,
right?
Because we're going out on the 8th.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do a couple of light sessions.
Some swims,
Becky the course. I've ridden the course on the bike before.
Have you? Yeah, I haven't.
Well, you can share a few tips on that.
Yeah, I'll ask you for a few tips then.
It seems a bit like we're going the wrong way. I don't know if you've looked at it. Have you seen the climb?
You go up to Polenta and then you climb up to the...
You climb up Feminia and then you come down
up to Repsol Garage, don't you? And then,
So you go up the long gradual, windy roller coaster climb.
Yeah.
And then you come down the super tight hairpin under the trees descent. So I thought you'd have gone the other way, but I guess it's so that you don't have people honing down at 90k an hour and going off the edge of stuff.
Oh, please don't tell me this.
Oh no,
Because it's super fast. That descent is really fast and really, really nice. But on the way, the way we're going, you have to
the opposite.
you have to be more cautious on the descent, and I think that's maybe why.
Maybe so then.
But,
Oh well,
Yeah.
it's all right. Yeah,
He's a motorbiker though, isn't he? Like, he's
I like
scared.
cornering.
yeah. Are you riding it on a TT bike?
No, I'll be on a road bike.
Okay.
By the way, if anyone's got a road bike, I am after a new one.
I've got a few.
If anyone's got
I've got one for sale if you're my size.
I'm after a new one.
We might have a shoot up after this.
Yeah. So Hatfield it's amazing. In winter, the amount of people who you speak to, you see at the pool and stuff. I was chatting last night when we were at Spartan, and it was like, oh, I can't wait to go back to Hatfield and go for what. So everybody's like, oh, I hate winter, I hate being in the pool. Just want to go back to Hatfield and get in my wetsuit and go swimming.
You have to get around people doing breaststroke in the fast lane, don't you? And it's just so frustrating. Like I've really struggled with that. Struggled with swimming, getting into it anyway. But then trying to follow exactly what my coach has set for me when there's other people doing their thing, it's just like, how am I supposed to only wait 10 seconds when I'm going to run straight into
somebody else
else?
Sometimes you have to do it slightly differently.
Yeah.
You said
Easy things like my breathing. So this is actually, I've got a question for you. So when I'm on the bike and when I'm running, I know that I'm because I'm strong enough at it that I don't really need to think about my breathing unless I'm going like VO2 max, and I need to be like I'll pace it with what I'm doing. In the pool, of course, you have to. So I've been told, is it the unilateral breathing or whatever?
Bilateral.
Every three.
So, it's every three. So I've been doing that. But the other day I started just breathing when I wanted to.
Okay.
Out of either side still.
Yeah.
And I felt loads better.
Okay.
So about like some it would be 3, then it would be like 5, and then 4, and then 5 again, and then 2 4s, and then
Has your coach done your training where you do 3 that kind
bubble breathe?
Has he done it where you do it 3 bilateral, then 5 bilateral, then 7 bilateral, then?
I've not done the session like that yet.
Okay. You will probably.
Yeah. So that kind of. Yeah, I don't know, obviously every coach I suppose is very different, but one of the things I suppose like we've done throughout from swim train coaching for Steve is that he'll have done like a 3-5-7, 5-3 or something like just for your breathing, just to get you used to that oxygen depletion. So you're almost like when you get to 7, it's like
I just feel like I'm breathing too much. Like I'm not getting it all out before I need. Like I don't need to breathe again yet. And when I've got my head straight down, those 2 extra strokes, I feel like I'm making up so much time by having better form. And I can focus more on the form rather than be like, form and then breathe. And then I just feel like I'm breaking up what I'm doing.
I breathe every 3 because that's how I was taught. Right. When I relearned to do front crawl.
Okay. I always run 3.
I was taught to do. But within that, we did 5s. Sometimes, if I was doing something where I was swimming quite fast earlier on, so maybe let's go back a year ago. If I was struggling, I would breathe every 2. If I was getting out of breath,
I see.
Because I was trying to go fast, and I was thinking I need to breathe more because I'm struggling a bit because I'm working hard. I would breathe every 2, and until I'd calm down a bit, then go back to 3.
Okay.
But 5s, 4s. Sometimes it's good to change it about when you're swimming anyway.
I was just thinking on the whole breathing thing as well. Like one thing that'd be good for you is because you're going open water to do like Mallorca, it's like on the sighting.
Okay.
So
that's
that would be a good thing. Obviously for Hatfield, that if you learn how to like do sightings and stuff. I mean, you were fortunate last year. You went on and did an full open water swim course, didn't you? In Rutland Water.
Which is lucky I was working.
He was lucky he was working down there. But we've never really had anybody around here that we've spent proper open water swimming.
No, you can go to Hatfield and go. And swim,
but you just swim.
You're just swimming around the court. But that's the thing is, all of a sudden, you'll notice you get in and you go, oh, there's no black line to follow. Yeah. All of a sudden, you've got to start doing it for yourself. So people sight.
But if you did, I'm just thinking, if you are doing like your 5, because you're 5, and then obviously then you get up. You don't know how your rhythm will just flow with it and stuff. And you got to work with what works for you.
See, that's the thing when I run. I don't even, like I say, I just breathe I just breathe however fast I need to breathe, and the same on the bike. So it's like, I didn't know if it's like, okay, well, because you kind of are taught you need to breathe every 3 or every 5.
It's what you're comfortable with, I think.
I always feel like, oh no, I did it wrong then, because I did it
I don't think there's anything right or wrong way.
I think the three correct me if I'm wrong, viewers, but I think the three comes from being in a race and being in open water, because you then watch it looking at both sides of you to see who's around you.
And then if you've got someone there for 2 minutes, you're not getting splashed in the face every time you're breathing.
And there might be no one there, or you might be coming up to a buoy, so you might be coming up to a turn, so you need to know who's around you. And obviously, like you say, the other thing is the waves are coming in from this side. So if you can only breathe to the right, and the waves are coming in this way, every time you turn to breathe and get a mouthful of water, you then need to breathe to the left instead to stay out of trouble. So that's the part of the thing, I think, with the bilateral breathing, is that you can swap from one to the other.
Right.
To then, because you will find that you will get to the point where you go to breathe and a wave comes across and hits you in the face, and you don't get a breath. So then you have to breathe to the right all the time till you turn the buoy, and then everything's different
the way around again.
So then it might be both sides, or it does change.
I feel like I'm okay with like the actual, like in terms of moving my head and breathing both sides. I'm relatively comfortable, equally comfortable, if you know what I mean. But I definitely noticed that when I breathe to my left, that my stroke is like I then stroke like across the body, whereas with my left arm I don't. I go straight down. So I've found that like I've been getting like achy right shoulder all the time. But then I'm like, no, it's because I'm doing this, and I'm. So it's weird how it's like I'm
body alignment.
Yeah, really strange. But yeah, it's been a massive learning curve, and taking on such a training load as well. Because I rode a lot.
So are you like every morning, every night, or like sometimes? I mean, you've got a young family as well, haven't you?
I have, yeah. So at the minute, it's just a bit like I was meant to. I rode today for an hour just because I wanted to go ride, but I was meant to do 3 training, but I didn't really have 3 hours. It's because I work for myself. I can go kind of whenever I want, but then it goes from being completely free and train all week, no problem, loads of time, to I'm away for a week and a half and I've got no time to do anything. So I think actually it's making it a little bit more difficult than if I had a 9 to 5, where I could say, right, these are my hours in the morning, these are my hours after work. So like today I had loads of time, but as the day goes on, I'm doing edits, I'm talking with customers, whatever, then I've only got an hour, and then tomorrow we're out for 3.
Nice. It's disciplining your time, I guess, isn't it? And your whole full-time management and stuff. Like you say, if you're away for a week, at least you know that if you are lucky enough, you've got your bike, if you can go biking while you're there, or you've always got your trainers, you can
exactly.
And book yourself a hotel where you've got a swimming pool, or find somewhere that's got a swimming pool.
We're trying to do that, but they're always spa pools.
Yeah, you need to stay somewhere where there's a leisure centre just round the corner so that you can. That's it.
Yeah,
it's not easy.
So you're finding that balance then, like you say, with a little one as well. It's like if I'm free for a little bit, a lot of the time I'll help Nikita, because she's still on maternity, and you know, it's a lot for her to. She's walking Nora around the house because Nora wants to be walking, but she can't properly walk on her own. So it's just like Nikita bought knee pads off of Amazon. Nice. So she's going around like a carpet fitter on knee pads. But it's like she's just non-stop. So I feel like sometimes I need to have an hour where I'm doing something. But then there's always something in my head that I need to be doing. So it's just it's challenging, but it's
it'll
all
be
good
really,
fun.
Exactly, and I think it'll be really rewarding to say, right, that you've come from the point of not being able to swim and everything for it. I'm really excited for you. For like, you've obviously, I know you've been into Mallorca before cycling. I went on tri-camp just before COVID. It was the 2 years before COVID. I did tri-camp out there and absolutely loved Mallorca.
Beautiful place to ride, isn't it?
It's incredible to ride, and I'm doing the 312 this year.
I really want to do it, but
that's my bucket. It's been a bucket list, but so
big day out.
Yeah, big day out. But it's just. So I know the roads that you're going to be going on to cycle, and I kept always sort of like, because I was going to do it originally, but obviously I can't run anymore. So. But to go back to Mallorca is just going to be incredible, and it was always when races you just think
it's a really it's a bucket list race, but not because it's a big, Ironman.
Because it's in Rio.
Just because of the scenery, just because of where it is, and the roads are fantastic. I mean, and it's relatively flat. Up, down, flat, isn't it? So it's not as if it's kind of like Nice or something where it's just absolutely brutal.
I mean, your start is going to be so carried away because we were doing time trials on there on training camp.
From Alcudia to
Valencia. Yeah, I've ridden that road before, so I know it's flat.
It's 5 miles, so like we did a 10-mile time trial on that, and it was literally just smooth, flat. Have you done it? Yes,
I've ridden that bit, yeah.
And so as soon as you come out of there, it's like you're going to be like smile wide and all
that position.
Yeah. So that was another question for me. Obviously, from your cycling background and stuff, you've always been road bikes? Are you going to be racing on a road bike, or are you going to be TT bike?
I'm going to race it on a TT bike. I did an hour, but I think but there's an element to my situation is that because I'm filming it, and it's supported by some cycling brands that I work with.
Fantastic.
So I wanted it to be the correct. I wanted it to look like a proper triathlon film. So I went, do you know what? Even if there is a big climb, a TT bike, I'll because that's the new thing. I never had a TT bike, so I never learned that position either.
Yeah.
So that in itself is challenging something that I'm comfortable on.
Yeah.
Which I thought was also. I don't know why I like to make things difficult for myself, but it was nice.
But you're not, because you're learning something new as well.
Skill,
it's that you're learning to be uncomfortable, because it's as much as I don't get me wrong. I'm a time trialist. I love time trialing. And the position, everyone's like, oh, it's just like, how can you? But once you get in it, all of a sudden it's like my little switch just goes, right, we're off.
Yeah.
It's like you're in race mode.
I think it's good to separate. It separates you from just being on the bike and just having a cage. Right, it's like buying a cage now.
Yeah, definitely. And I would 100% race it on a TT bike, but you're not comfortable.
Not at the minute. I need to make some alterations to my TT bike to try and make it. I have raced on it. But I need to make it a bit more comfortable. And I mean, I don't know obviously how long the climb is. That would be the thing that would. I mean, I took my TT bike to Lanzarote, didn't I? Last Christmas, and I rode it in Lanzarote, so I have climbed on it.
Yeah.
But it was that windy in Lanzarote. My God. Yeah. Trying to get down in aero position. With like a 40-mile-an-hour side wind, it was like, no, this is not for me. So it was a bit. It was the wrong. So I spent a lot of the time just riding it normally.
But, and I think I'm sorry. Like for me, I'm getting quite excited talking about my whole TT bike. For you, it would be dead exciting. With you look at the bike and it's just like everyone who looks at bikes and it's like, wow, that looks fast.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've always 100%. A bike can look fast. It's always the engine the engine.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%.
And it's the people are like when you buy your bikes and everything and stuff. But if you're a strong cyclist, so you when you get on that bike, you just know anyway. It doesn't matter what bike you get on. No matter, do you know what I mean? It's like, but for you, and if I was getting on that amazing bike, I'd be just like, oh my God, your smell's going to be
I'm
like.
very much looking forward to the cycling section on it, just because you can enjoy riding. Like I just want to enjoy riding that bike, and I do around here a little bit, but I'm more worried about smashing it up in potholes. Yeah. Whereas when I know that in that scenario, when I'm like. It's the
closed roads as well. So it's like
it's a perfect tool for the job, and I'm like, now I'll get to experience what it was designed for, like for the first time properly in it. And I don't know, I just feel.
So as part of your journey, are they putting you in a wind tunnel or anything? Or?
The project actually is my own project. Mm-hmm. So I've funded basically everything that I need to fund. I've funded myself. With some support from key brands and stuff like providing bits and bobs. I would like to do a wind tunnel, but I don't know if it's necessarily something that's essential for at this stage of the start of my journey, because it's the first one.
Yeah.
So I think it's more about like learning that position and then seeing how I do. Like I have a time goal, but the time goal is kind of irrelevant because you never know what the wind's going to be like or the weather. You don't know if the swim's going to be cancelled. You don't know what's going to happen. So you could say, I want to do it in 5 hours, but I mean, it's not really anything realistically to set as a barometer, is it? It's just
you give yourself a guide, because then you know where your training's going to be and where your pacings and stuff's going to be, and then like you say, everything else that happens on the day, it's what happens on the day, isn't it? I've always been a big believer in you can control the controllables. You can't control what you can't control. So you can't control if it's going to be rough swim on the daytime in the morning. Don't worry about it. You can't control if it's going to be windy. If it rains, don't worry about it. Do you know what I mean? But you'll still,
as long as you just control your nutrition, all that stuff.
You've controlled everything
right. You
from
just
your
do what
point.
you can do.
I mean, I've seen it a lot of times because I'm lucky I ride with and work with a lot of like professional athletes as well, and I've seen how much that can affect them. Like if they have a mechanical on a day, they train for a year to do something, and something completely out of their hands takes them out of a race, and it's like I'm not a professional cyclist, so I don't need to really put too much pressure on myself with that. The way my head works. I do put pressure on myself for stuff that I want to do.
You want to do as well as you can.
I don't know whether they tell you this, but like when we did Ironman Wales, I was like, you need to train yourself how to sort out a puncture. So like we'd always like part of my training, I would always make sure that you could change a tire. So I'd spent ages like before you were training, I used to like be in the back garden just changing punctures. And just getting so proficient at it and knowing how you can do it quickly and stuff and everything with it. Because before, when I'd go out and cycle, I used to go out and cycle, and the guys that I was cycling with, they would pretty much like, oh, it's all right, Ali, we'll sort it out. If you're like, no, okay, thanks. But then all of a sudden, but then all of a sudden I was like in the position where it's like, I need to do this myself.
Yeah, it's on you. Like,
and it was the smallest little thing that you think, if that happened to me and I was racing, and they're the things you need to train for as well, and just learn and just say, are you riding tubs, or if you're on, depends, it's all the different decisions.
When you did Ironman Wales 22, we were stood halfway up Saundersfoot. The guy was coming up the first part of Saundersfoot, got around the bend, and his chain snapped.
God.
But he had another link. So he basically chucked his bike at the side of the road, got down on his hands and knees, put another link in, fixed his chain, got back on the road off. Because otherwise that'd have been dead.
I'll add that to my...
stick a spare link in.
Just notimise this moment.
It's weird
but
though.
It's simple,
think about, would you? But you know what I mean? You just think you need everything that you can. I mean, you can't take everything, but you need.
No, but
and there is stuff you can do, isn't there, regarding punches that's stiff that you can adapt and things like that.
Yeah, it's like I said to you once, when if you find yourself in a position where if you do get a puncture, you've changed your puncture, but actually it's the tyre that's worn down. Like I always used to carry an empty gel wrapper. And then use it in boot line and from that, and you were like, and I gave you one. You're like, what's this for? What do I need that for? And it's like, just in case, because you never know. So, and that was a tip that someone told me years ago. It's these small little things, but it's not big.
But it could get you round.
It can be a game changer for your race. So
I think in Mallorca, you take it for granted that the roads are like glass, but if something is on there and you do get a puncture, I mean, my bike isn't actually really set up very well for triathlon at the minute. It's an all-out TT bike with no storage, no extra bottles.
Exciting.
So I need to get some specific stuff. I'm gonna so with the bottle cages, I'm actually gonna take that off and get that 3D printed to a storage thing, because I think that's the only place I could probably put storage, and then maybe have in between the cups have a bottle here with a straw, and then on the back of the saddle. But apart from that, I don't really think there's much I can do. The top tube's like this thin, so it's a bit of a nightmare.
I think it's personal preference of what you want to do, and
but I want to be prepared.
And like you,
if
you're going to have your drinks, your storage bottle on the front, and it's one that you just fire water bottles in. I think that works, doesn't it? Because every feed station, you can just grab a bottle of water and you can just empty it straight into it and then chuck it in.
So Gemma had, because you know Gemma, so she lives around the corner from me, so she's given me loads of invaluable tips.
Great. Well, Gemma's my cycling wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah, although we've not been cycling yet this year.
Last time I went on a ride with Gemma, so I wasn't even on a ride with her at the time. I was just at a petrol station in Epworth, just stopped for it. It was really, really hot. It was about 38 degrees this summer. She come past on a TT bike. I was like, shall I jump a casual one? She said, I'm just nipping down here. Then I'm off to get at the bank at Gainsborough, then I'm coming home. I didn't realise she was going to like basically Doncaster first and then around. And literally, like, I hang on to the back of Gemma on that bike that day. I don't know how, but I was completely destroyed by the time I got to the bank, and I had another 2 hours to ride, and I got home and I couldn't see. So thanks
Did
for
you
that,
not
Gemma.
share any sweets?
You need 6 sweets.
Yeah. Well, I had stuff that I'd run out, and I
Plenty
just
of sweets. Yeah, Gemma steals my sweets when we go cycling. I always have to take plenty of sweets. It's got us through some dark days. But there's loads of little things.
She had a torpedo thing as well, that sort of thing. So like that thing's kind of useful, I've seen.
Yeah. So loads of people, I suppose, like on the triathlon thing that you learn is that some people have the actual bottle cage, so you can actually put a bottle in, chuck a bottle, so you can actually have a full one of those bottles or whatever.
Yeah, I've got a bottle cage on the front of mine, so I can just have a bottle.
Do they just have like normal bottles of water and stuff, and then they just refill your bottles at like stations, or do they have like actual like bidons with?
Oh yeah, so like on an Ironman, they should tell you now actually online as to what
you're going to
the
get.
nutrition's going to be. So it'll be based on whoever they've got there.
Different companies sponsor different Ironman events, but it'll tell you what the gels are going to be. It'll tell you what.
Yeah.
So normally at a drink station, as you're coming in, it tells you what order everything's in.
Okay.
So it'll be like water, isotonic, blah blah blah. It'll tell you, so you know that the first person has got water in their hand. The next table they've got something else.
Right.
So you can grab what you want as you go.
But it's not in like that already.
Yes. So it'll be in them.
Yeah.
So you just grab them and chuck them on your back.
It'll be in like normal bottles. So you can just grab. You can, as you come up to your feed station, you can empty a bottle, throw it just as you get there. There'll be like an area where you can chuck it, and then you just grab another one on your way past and slot it straight in.
Wow. Okay.
So that
practice doing that. We practiced that.
Really?
Yeah. And it's a good job we did. We went out down a little quiet road. You stood in like, at the side of the road, didn't you? And I rode along, took a bottle out of a bottle cage, threw it on the floor, and then grabbed another one off Ali on it. The first time I went way too fast and I missed it. I grabbed it and dropped it. And it then taught me, then I had to slow down to make sure, because if you miss it...
Yeah, well, you're either missing it or you stop and you go back and then you lose all the time.
Yeah. So if it's that, critical, you don't want to...
That was literally practice stuff.
Yeah, so we actually practiced that. So
these little things, I would never have...
Yeah.
Oh, I'd have had no idea.
I guess I never would have thought that.
I suppose that with your training and the athletes and stuff that you are working with as well, they'll be teaching you about you're supposed to be learning quite a lot about the nutrition side of things as terms of fueling, or
I am in a way, but not like directly in terms of like, I'm not being told specifically this is what I should be having for what I'm currently doing now, if you know what I mean. When I went in December, I went to Calpe and rode with the women's team that I shoot for, and then I just followed what they were eating, and it was way more than what I normally eat. It was 80 grams of carbs an hour. My body, by the end of a 5-hour ride, was like not used to it. Like I was not in a great way.
I did Wales on 90, didn't I? 90 grams of carbs.
It's a lot, isn't it?
For a full Ironman.
You train your body to get used to it. And they're saying now, the things that I read or I listen to, some of the more cycling kind of based people, they're even saying more.
Yeah.
They're even saying
you
more.
can't just go straight to it, can you? Because your body will only take so much.
Yeah, your gut can't take it.
Yeah, and you need to try. Some people can eat.
Yeah.
I did mine, and I had carb drinks in a bottle.
Okay.
And I carried more sachets with me, so that I could, when I got another bottle of water, I could just chuck a couple of sachets in, and I had another 2 hours worth of. I think I was putting 2 or 4 in a bottle. So it was strong,
but
obviously, that would then last me for 2 hours or last me for an hour or whatever I needed, and just
90k ride. I think it's So I think a couple of gels and a refill on an ISO and then some water. I think should, but I want to run off the bike pretty well as well. So you need to fuel for that. I don't want to be halfway through the run thinking, I need to, because by the time you need to eat, it's too late.
Yeah, 100%.
So, but I don't want to then overdo it and then feel rough as anything. So it's just, I think, I don't know. I would like to do a brick session of the full distance before I go and do it, but I've been told I don't need to.
You don't need to.
But it's just that.
Yeah, it's that
I'd like to know, like, okay, this is roughly what I'm at and how I felt after fueling for the correct amount.
Your coach will take you, he'll get you to do like a fairly hard bike with a fairly hard run after to train it for you to get used to how that feels. Obviously, like, how was your first brick run?
Do you know what? So I was just thinking about it, and I don't know. And this is nothing on specific to like my plan or anything, but I feel a little bit like maybe I'm a bit strange because I don't know if usually the running, like the level of my running that he's setting my stuff to, he bases off of my bike because I can't. I've done a few like specific efforts to heart rate that he wants me at, but I feel like where he's saying I am where I need to be for the run is too slow, and I know I'm not used to that distance, but I have run half marathons before, but I felt like really, really good and felt like I could run it all day, but actually he said it was too fast off the bike.
Yeah, because you're going to be doing 56 miles on a bike before you do your half marathon, aren't you? It's you pacing is key. You see it, don't you? People go off on the bike, go off like a bullet, get onto the run, got nothing left.
I remember first ever training for my first ever half, and coach had me doing these runs, and I was doing, the runs are so slow, and it literally was like, I'd be going around the runs and I'd be like, I can run so much faster than this. But the pacing and the heart rate zones that obviously they're pacing you at, it's more because of the volume that you're training in a week as well.
Right, okay.
And it's almost like the building the stimulus in your body. So it's the frustrating rule was that you've got to run slower to run faster.
Yeah. I just haven't had a session in 2 months where I've actually run fast. So I'm like, I hope I'm not just going to try and run to 150 BPM on the day, because then
no, but
I'm
the minute
feel like I will have had loads more.
All your winter training, basically, like you'll always be in like zone 2. Yeah, and like it's weird.
It's like I kind of tell myself that now. I get on the run and I'm like, when you're in the moment there, you're like, no, I've got more. So without like smashing yourself to bits, but. Yeah, I'm still getting used to it then.
It's definitely.
But it's like, I feel like my levels are different in the run than what they are on the bike, and then obviously to the swim. But
and trust the process. It's
I on my first half, I had an idea of what my bike time would be, and I actually did it nearly half an hour quicker.
Wow, nice.
But then I suffered on the run.
Right.
Because I'd gone half an hour quicker on the bike. So I came in off the bike. I was looking at my watch, thinking, I've smashed this on the bike. I never thought I'd go this fast, and I felt good. I was going to say, and I was on my TT bike then as well.
Right.
So 56 miles, nailed it. Coming in thinking, great, feel great. Got out on the run, and my legs were dead. I couldn't pick my legs up.
Really? Wow.
And I was probably 20 minutes slower on the half marathon than I thought I would be. So it evened itself out in the end. So but that was. So that taught me.
I think it's like, did you find that when you first did your first brick run about actually how nice it was? Weird.
I felt mint. I felt so
it's ace, isn't it?
Because your legs are warmed up.
I just wanted to go all day. Like I just was like.
Your legs are just in such a good position, aren't they? Because
people warned me and said it'd be bad, and I was like.
It just, for me, it always feels a little bit weird because you've been on a bike for a long time and you set off running and you think a bit like,
it's the cadence, isn't it?
But once you actually get going, you're like, oh yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah.
And
I tried to do it so that I'm literally like not having to. I literally get off the bike. I've done them on Zwift, so I've literally had like kit ready there.
Yeah.
Shoes off, leave the shoes in, just undo them.
Yeah.
Shoes on, run straight out. Like try and minimise it as much as I can.
Yeah.
I just felt like 5.5 to 6 minute Ks. I'm like, it's just like my body wants to go.
Your body wants to go faster because you warmed up. And,
Genuinely, like when I ran Manchester Marathon last year.
Oh, cool! I shot that.
Did you?
Yeah, I might have a picture of you.
Oh God, I really want a picture. But I genuinely said that I would rather run a marathon off an Ironman than just run a standalone marathon because my legs were just. It's just. You come off the bike and your legs are ready to run.
You're primed, aren't you? Ready to go. Yeah.
And you can't explain that to anybody. It's like running from a standing start is horrible.
Especially because you start on those events. I did London Landmarks, and it was like you stood on the start line freezing because you don't want to have like coats and stuff because you just end up having to chuck them to the side if you've not got no one with you. Then you but like I was absolutely freezing, and then you take 20 minutes to warm up. I won't slow anyway on the bike, especially I take an hour before I'm in the zone.
Yeah.
So hopefully the swim sorts that out.
And you'll find that the fitter you get as well.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, you'll find that the fitter you are as a cyclist, especially like if you do more endurance, longer races, it takes longer for your leg. This is what I think, anyway, my personal opinion. But you do find people you speak to that it does take your body legs longer to warm up.
Right. Okay.
So, like, if I'm going to go and do a 10-mile time trial now, I know I need to go and do at least 10, 15 miles beforehand.
Really?
Just to get my legs warmed up in a position that I know I can go and do a 10-mile time trial. But that's how it's, I don't know whether that's age or my body getting stronger.
Yeah.
And being more endurance. But, yeah, so, like, there's a time trial up in Barton and I have to bike to it.
Yeah, you bike from
Sometimes
here,
if I just rock up to it and don't get the warm up, I'm like, my legs are just like, they're not there. It's horrible.
It's weird, isn't it? You can be out for 2 hours in freezing cold, and although you're cold, but your legs are warm, so you just feel good. And then when you started, you're nice and toasty, but your legs are like, nope.
Yeah,
don't want this today,
yeah,
thanks.
not having it.
Yeah.
It's
So
weird.
what's your longest turbo rides and stuff that you've been like? How are you getting through your turbo rides? Can you,
from the training or in just what I've done? So
do you know? So like, I suppose for being a noob, have you always turboed?
Yeah, for the last few years, in the winter,
so you know
I've
that
quite a bit. Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah, it's just that I don't enjoy it as much. I have just because the bike don't move under you, so it's just after an hour, it's just a bit more uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I'm using the turbo to learn and get hours in the position without having to worry about traffic and other stuff. And then I'll use the road bike outside on sessions. I've got power meters on the bike, so I can have the training peaks will send the specific session to my Wahoo, which I've never used that before, and I'm like, half of the functionality of this computer I've not even used for 3 years. But that's really helped. But then you get to a corner in the middle of an interval and you're like, oh God, does that one even count? But so yeah, it's just I'm a lot to them. But the turbo it's usually between, I don't know, an hour and 2 hours, depending on the session. A lot of strength work, so like 55 RPM at like 80% or 90% of FTP, and then the outside rides are usually, like zone 2, 3 hours plus. Alongside mixture of different running, and then the swimming is not really set. I don't think he's set the swimming as he usually would because I was a beginner, so it's very much repeat the basics and get that time in the pool rather than
just getting time in the water.
Not a lot. I mean, I swim with the pool boy quite a lot, which I never even knew was a thing.
Yeah, great, Alex.
But you just don't want to use it as a crutch. That's the thing, isn't
But
it?
it makes you then concentrate on your technique. Because you're not worried about what your legs are doing, so you can concentrate.
I still find myself kicking. I'm like, oh no, stop kicking. Stop it. You don't need
You
to
learn
kick.
to exactly.
When you get used to sighting, when you've swimming in
And
open
wetsuit.
water, and a wetsuit, you get a
Yeah.
wetsuit on, go to Hatfield, go swim in open water, think, God, it's cold here. And then and get used to sighting, because it'll be weird how you do it. Everyone does it differently. Some people sight every so many strokes, you know what I mean? It's different for house, depending, I think, on if you swim in a straight line, you don't need to sight that much. If you weave about a bit, which I do, I need to sight more often to keep having a look. And there's other things to think about, like when the sun comes up and it's in your eyes and you can't see where you're going. And there's all sorts of stuff like that. And it is really weird. Just trying to get the hang of it. But after swimming in open water last summer, which is my first year in open water, I went back to the pool for the first time in like the beginning of October. I got in the pool, pushed off from the side, had a breath, and then the next time I picked my head up to sight to see where the boy was, and I'm like, there's a black line here. Just follow the black line.
But that's good because obviously it's just
and I did it again.
The...
And the next length, I did the same thing. I went and picked my head up. It's like, what am I doing? It's like I'm not in
memory.
I'm not in a lake. But it is weird, isn't it? How things just get ingrained in you just to do them without thinking about them. But
it's definitely going to be. That's the progression. So it's then learn how to be able to actually swim the distance and swim with good form without being completely destroyed by that distance. Then take it to open water and learn about just swimming in a wetsuit, I guess, and then sighting. Then forget everything about the pace. Then again for a little bit,
Yeah.
And then bring that back in.
Yeah, there's a lot to think about, isn't there?
And then people whacking you in the head and swimming over you.
Yeah,
that's going to come on the day.
That's where you need a race plan. Well, that will depend on how competitive you want to be in the swim. Because whether you position yourself, if you think, I'm getting really good at this, I'm going to have it, and you're going to be in that position where you're right in the middle, or you have a plan where you stay to the outside or whatever.
Do you know how they seed you at Mallorca?
Age group, isn't it? Still, it's just
do they
you can just
they seed you as in? Is it a rolling start, or do they put you in the water and then set you off?
I think it's rolling.
Is it?
Rolling
but the age group you're like to do anyway. But then you can just pick. If I want to go at the back, I'll just go at the back. And then I think that I'd rather be there because the times you're racing yourself, aren't you?
Yeah.
So you're racing yourself.
And then I do. Yeah. I've got less to worry about. I can get that done. Maybe I'll go a bit slower, but whatever. I can get out the pool, out the world's pool. Yeah. And then I can get on the Mediterranean pool. That's it. I can get out the water and just hammer them all on the bike, and then no. I won't do that.
Luke is going to get out the water and hammer it.
I'll go steady on the bike, and then I'll come past them in the run because I'll be fresh because I will have saved myself. And then I'll I want to be literally giving my last 2 grams of carbs
as you cross
as
the finish
I go
line.
towards that finish line. And I want to get to the point because every time I've raced or done anything in an event for running, I see the finish line and I've always sprinted for the line no matter what, and I don't want to get to the end and not be able to do that. That's usually adrenaline, even if I'm completely smashed. But
pacing is key. That's the thing for the whole day.
I want to say that I gave it all. And I didn't stop until the end, and that's I think that then as the first one will be like that's the goal. It's not actually really to place or it's sub 5 hours, although it'd be nice. It's to say, right, I gave it all and let's go do a full one. I think it'd be cool.
And once you realise how much your body's capable of and what you can do, at 100%, you just like, oh my God, and it is a drug.
Yeah, it is.
It completely is a drug. An exciting drug that you won't get bored of the training either because you are doing the 3 disciplines. It's so good for your body. It's like you'll know from a running point of view that when you run and all you do is running, when you pound the street, it's just it's so much on your body, isn't it?
It's
but to have the biking in there, and then when you get to the point where you're swimming, it's just like you enjoy it. My coach is probably going to really hate me for this when I say this, but I used to just love a just nice recovery swim. So you take a training session and stuff, and you think, okay, I probably should actually put my effort into that, to be honest with you, but because it's like you get in the water and you utilise it as a bit of a training, you utilise it as a bit of a recovery swim because you know like your body's tired, but it's listening to your body as well, isn't it? It's just,
that's the biggest thing. That's another.
It's knowing when to rest. It's knowing when to.
If you're tired, have a rest.
Or it's knowing to push through the tiredness and see how far you can really push yourself. And your coach will do that.
He's been very good. He's very, very good, and I found that I'm eating a lot more, and not then putting that weight back on. But it's
great, isn't it? You can virtually. I'm not saying you can eat what you want, but more or less can.
I still want to be. I know that I'm not as. I'm lean, but I'd like to be. That's another thing. It's a bit of a personal thing for me, but I'd like to feel like I'm going to race day like in peak condition, like while I can. Like I know that I can still get a little bit off, and I can get stronger, and so I'm not just trying to lose weight for the sake of losing weight. I can get stronger, and I can just be in peak, and then it's like, let's see what can I really do? What is the best I can actually do, and is it good?
Once you apply yourself fully to everything that you do, and be leaner, meaner, stronger, faster, and
hopefully flat that climb, but we'll see. We'll see. My friend Jason's doing it as well. He's like 6'5", super powerful on the bike. He's probably on about 75 kilos, so that, and he's really strong. And he said, my technique for the climb is just go way over threshold and then recover on the descent. I was like, yeah, cool. You stick with that plan, Jason. Stick with that plan. And I'll see you at the finish. So I'm like, okay. But it's nice because everyone's got their own way of thinking. And I don't know, one thing I've found as well from starting doing this is you meet so many people. And
yeah, you do, yeah.
It's like it was the same when I started cycling, doing what I do, you know, and taking pictures. And when I started to ride with others and meet new people, the communities that are in these sports are just the best. And that's what made me, you know, quit my job to go and do what I do now, is because of the people, people behind the brands, the people behind teams, the people behind triathlon and community riding. It's like, I don't know, I felt like I've got a lot of friends who have got my back and want to see me succeed and do well for myself.
Yeah.
You know, which is really nice. You don't get that in everything. So.
No, you don't. I think that genuinely I've experienced within the triathlon family.
Yeah.
Everyone, more or less, will help you. Will come out on a ride with you or go for a run with you if you're struggling a bit, or you know, and we'll offer you help and support and tips, and you know, it is like that. It's competitive on race day.
Yeah,
but everyone's racing themselves.
That's the thing.
They're all racing their own time and to try and beat the best they can be.
Exactly, and that's
so that's why I think people are quite good at giving you advice and stuff like that.
Just want to see you do good for you.
And I'm genuinely pleased for you when you then do well.
Because you're passionate about it. That's half the battle as well, isn't it? Like you say that it's something that you love, and if you've got the opportunities to be able to do what you do, then wow. Yeah. Incredible.
I know I'm incredibly fortunate to be doing what. I mean, if you'd told me 3 years ago this is what I'd be doing, I would have.
You've got to follow your dreams, though, haven't you?
I'm a massive advocate of that, and I know it sounds really cliche, but I mean, if you don't try, you never know.
No, you don't.
That's the thing. I mean, I just got to be brave enough to ask for it.
Yeah, just have a go.
That's the world for it, and if it won't give you it, then try a bit harder. And,
it's obviously not meant to be, is it? If it's not.
But if you don't ask,
you don't get
how are you ever going to know? So I mean, you got to. I mean, there's no doubt. I've graphed my backside off. Really. Although to people, because I don't go, you know, to the steelworks on shifts or whatever. It's not the same graft. I know that, but I mean, it does take. It's with anything, isn't it? Like with any type of work, but you've got to put in the work. But
the rewards come with it, don't they?
100% they do. And again, good people around you.
Yeah, definitely.
It's great. It's exciting. So I'm really grateful. Thank you for having me on. It's been
No, it's been really interesting because it's sort of bringing back a few memories for me. This time last year, it was all pretty much the same.
Yeah, and I think it's incredible seeing everybody, or seeing not everybody, but seeing people start and thinking, why you take certain journeys and why you do what you do. Like I've always said that I never envisaged myself doing a triathlon. I had for triathlete friends, and I thought they're absolutely bonkers. I was like, what? Then you find a love for bikes. Yeah. And then it spirals, and all of a sudden it's like, Marco, you find, can you swim? Yeah, I can swim. Well, let's give it a go. And then before you know it, you're doing what you're doing, and you never know, you might end up in Hawaii going for the World Championships. Have it as a goal.
Yeah, maybe. To get there would be good, but we never know. I think it's, let's see where I'm at, and then I'd like to go and do a full. I know that. I don't know if you've seen a guy on YouTube called Average Rob. He's a young Belgian lad. Yeah. He made that actually was what made me book and just do it, because I wanted to get into it and I had the idea for a while, and then he and his brother went from like not being able to do anything. He's just a YouTuber, and they like do silly things. He's got like this bucket list, and he went to do a full Ironman training for 8 months, and I was like, it's very very good to watch if you want to watch it, and that I think that's what made me go, do you know what, if they can do it, for sure I can.
Yeah, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
I mean, it's.
Well, it is, isn't it? I never wanted to do it. I had no interest at all in it.
You've massively, like, you look around the people that are doing it now, you've inspired loads of people to put the confidence into them to say that actually maybe to make that decision and put the confidence in themselves that they can do it as well. Huge. You can. It's just, it made me completely. We've not quite worked on Tom yet, though, have we?
No, we need to get Tom into
I got him a bike.
Yeah.
he's got no excuse.
And I know he can run.
Yeah, and his water is just there.
Nice to meet you, Luke.
Yes,
Thank you.
nice to meet you too. And I'm sure we'll do some more things together, training wise before the event.
Welcome, brilliant, it'd be great.
Nice.
So
cool.
That was the.
That's that then. Thanks for watching, and see you all soon.
There's no second-hand bagging tonight.
Oh no, sorry.
We did discuss this earlier, but I bought a handbag. I'm learning.
Yeah, I haven't bought anything yet, apart from some new trainers. But I'm not telling you about them because I've only running them once. I'm not sure about them yet. So that's that. So no second-hand bagging. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. And we have got another guest on the next one. We've got a run of guests now, so it's getting quite exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
So thanks, and see you later.
Much.